Hey everybody, it's Silver Seeker, and in today's video, I want to talk to you about why I still stack silver going into 2022. Right now, we are at the end of 2021, and in 2021, silver has been dropping quite a bit. Inflation has not, and generally silver is considered to be a hedge against inflation. So why in the world would I continue to stack silver even if the price of silver has been going down while the price of everything else has been going up? Honestly, right now, silver isn't showing itself as a very good hedge against inflation, but I'm still picking it up. I'm still stacking it, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. So keep in mind, this is only my opinion and my opinion alone. Always do your own research and form your own financial decisions. Don't base it just off of what I say. But we're going to have some fun and talk about it. So really quick, if you are new here, guys, do me a favor. Don't forget to go down below. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to learn about silver stacking and more. Also, do me a favor. Hit that like button. It helps YouTube recommend this video to others. And now let's get started talking about some silver. Okay, so I think at the beginning of the video, I made it pretty clear that I am a silver stacker, and I have no intention of changing that fact going on to 2022. But what I thought I would do before I tell you the reasons that I'm going to be stacking silver in 2022, I would talk about some of the reasons that people may not anymore, or maybe they just never believed in silver at all. And 2021 is actually a really good example of that. I mean, I don't ignore facts. I don't look at 2021 and say, nothing happened. You guys are wrong. Of course, I see it. And it's very clear that, silver has not performed as well in 2021 as we had hoped. In fact, going back to the beginning of the silver squeeze back in February, silver peaked at almost $30 an ounce, I believe. It was right there. And as you can see at the very live ticker at the bottom of the screen here today on December 6th, as I'm recording this, silver is trading for $22.25. So that doesn't look like something that is keeping up with inflation, does it? In fact, inflation has absolutely skyrocketed this year, but silver has not performed accordingly. So that may cause people to lose a little bit of faith in stacking silver. They look at it and say, how can you call this a hedge when it's clearly lost money this year? And I mean, it's true. I mean, I'll be honest, if you would have bought a 1 ounce Buffalo like this one right here in my hand back in February and paid, the $5 or $6 premium or whatever it was going for, plus, $28, $29, you'd be in this thing at $35. And if you took it into a coin shop right now, you'd be lucky to get 24 for it. So if you sold it yourself, you might be able to get 26. But anyway, regardless of that fact, it's very clear that if you bought silver earlier this year, it may look like you've lost some money. Now, of course, that is considered unrealized losses because you haven't sold it yet. You don't actually lose money until you sell it. But that may be one of the reasons that people don't want to stack silver. Other people have said that silver doesn't perform as well as other things like stocks. So for example, in the 80s, if you would have put your money into Berkshire Hathaway, or even, last year, if you would have put your money into Tesla, you would have done much better than if you just bought some silver. And that is true as well. Of course, with stocks, there's always a lot of risk. So you never know. Berkshire Hathaway could have went belly up and you wouldn't have any money at all. So, with great risk comes great reward, as they like to say. The reason that I like to stack silver, though, is because I don't consider it a risk. Now, of course, there is a risk of short-term losses, but I think at the end of the day, silver is always going to continue to maintain that inflation hedge, even though there may be years, for example, 2021, where it doesn't look like it. But even today, even with silver prices dropping into the low 22s, you can still sell this silver quarter right here and get a gallon of gas, just like this silver quarter would have bought you about a gallon of gas back in 1964 and earlier. In fact, I did a video on that very topic on this channel earlier this year where I actually went back into history and I compared the price of, our goods and services to the price of silver going all the way back into the 60s. And I showed that had you put your money in the silver instead of, say, just kept it in money under your mattress or even in a bank account, that you would have done better. I showed that silver performed better than the dollar has going all the way back into the 60s. And I would have went back even farther, but it was kind of hard to find historical data going back much farther than that with silver and all the other goods and services as well. So yes, even though absolutely 2021 has not been a good example for silver, it is not, if there's people with weak hands, 2021 was not a good year. I'm sorry, it's just true. That being said, I'm going to continue to stack it because I believe in silver. Silver has been used as a currency going way back before the United States was a thing. I mean, we're talking millennia. It was used as silver and gold were used as trade, for thousands of years. And that isn't, I believe, ever going to change. I think if we ever get into a situation to where we have to, let's just say that the dollar completely deflates. They're going to have to use something as trade. Now, of course, I don't believe that that's going to be crypto. I'm not a big crypto fan. We can talk about that in other videos. And don't get me wrong, I am not knocking crypto. There's a lot of people in crypto, and a lot of people have made really money. And I believe crypto is a fantastic way to make yourself a lot of fiat currency. If you buy in at the right time and sell at the right time, you can absolutely make yourself a lot of money. That being said, I don't believe in it on a fundamental level like I do silver. And if there were ever an infrastructure issue, for example, and we didn't have access to the internet, or electricity was, there were blackouts rolling all over the place, how are you going to access your Bitcoin when you're in the middle of a blackout? And if there's a lot of blackouts, let's say there's rolling blackouts to continue on, who wants to have your Bitcoin anyway? Because who knows when electricity is going to be out for 2 or 3 days and they won't be able to access that money or use that money. So that's why I believe in something that's hard, that's something that you can hold in your hand, and something that has been historically used, like this silver here, as money, going well back before any of us were thought of, before the United States was thought of, before all of it. So yes, 2021, not a very good year, but I will continue to stack in 2022. Now, some of the things that I hope happen in 2022 is I hope the premiums on generics continue to come down. Quite a bit, actually. I really want to see generic buffaloes get back down to $1 to $1.50, or maybe even a little bit lower if you buy it in bulk. There was a time before the squeeze where you could actually buy generics. If you bought enough at once, like let's say 500, you could get them for around 75 cents. You could buy bars like this, even though this Johnson Matthey bar, because it's an old Johnson Matthey poured bar, this one here, you could actually get, probably around 50 cents over spot, but you could get like super generic kilos for like a quarter. If you bought enough of them at once. There's no way you can do that today. So one thing is that the premium on silver has absolutely went up. And a lot of people will say that's just proof that even though the market for silver, what silver's trading for on the COMEX, is very weak, it's very clear that, physical silver that's in your hand has a higher demand than what's on the COMEX, and therefore it has a higher price. That being said, the silver is still attached to that COMEX, and people still believe that silver is attached to the COMEX. So I would like to see personally premiums come down to where silver matches, generic silver matches that COMEX just a little bit closer. That is something I would really like to see in 2022. Something else I'd like to see in 2022 is the premiums on silver eagles come down, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And I wouldn't be too concerned if it didn't. I'd just be more excited about watching this stuff come down. If silver eagles don't come down, it's whatever, so long as you're able to stack your generic silver as cheap as possible. Now, you guys may also know that I am a collector stacker, so I do collect silver as well. And in another video, I'm going to show you some of the stuff in my collection if you guys want to stick around for that and check it out. But at the end of the day, in this video, what I'm telling you is that I just want premiums to come down so we can get silver a little bit closer to what it trades for on the COMEX, the physical silver, of course. And additionally, I would like to see the spot price at least stabilize and stop dropping. I don't necessarily need it to really skyrocket. I do believe that silver is being manipulated, and I do believe that it should be in the 30s. There's people that believe it should be way over that. But hey, at the end of the day, no matter how far to the extreme we go, we're all in the same boat. We all believe in the same thing when it comes to silver stackers, and that's that we believe in this metal right here. We believe in this not as an industrial metal, as some of the people in the comments are clearly going to say that silver is an industrial metal and it's worthless, but we believe in it as a precious metal that's been used as a currency for millennia, for well before the United States and a lot of other countries in the world ever even existed, and will continue to do so in times of need. If we ever do get into a Venezuela situation and our dollar isn't worth anything at all, we're going to want this stuff right here. We're not going to want crypto. We're not going to want stocks. We're going to want some hard tradable currency. Now, the other thing I will say, the last thing I'll say about tradable currency is that there are also people that will say it's going to be more important to have water, food, guns, and ammo. Sure, I'm not arguing that as well. But at the end of the day, you are going to need something that you will be able to trade to somebody else. So let's say you make bread, but you need water. Well, the person that has the water doesn't need bread because he also makes bread, but he needs something else. Well, there's going to be a medium of exchange, and I believe silver and gold will fit that bill if we do ever get there. I'm not an end of day or doomsdayer. I don't believe that we'll probably get to that point, but if we do, you never know. And so you may as well be ready. It's like I said, it's better to have something you never need than to need something that you don't have, right? And that's why I think silver and gold, for that matter, are definitely something that you want to continue to stack. So that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you in the very next video, and we'll see you next time.